Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world. It is, of course, the main man himself, Mr. Joseph Parker. Big Joe, welcome back on the show, my man.
What's up? It's good to be back on, and good to chat to you, brother.
Always a pleasure, my friend. So, Joe, we last spoke back in February. At the time, we discussed the Wilder win and the upcoming Zhang fight. You managed to upset the odds on both occasions. Just talk to me briefly about the Zhang fight, Joe. It wasn't nice seeing you on the canvas a couple of times, but you got the job done, like I said, and upset the odds yet again.
You know, the Zhang fight was a big challenge. You know, Zhang is very good with the technique that he has and also fundamentals. And to be able to come out off the canvas twice and to be able to throw more punches than he did. And I had better endurance, better speed. But the thing that was the biggest difference was the weight. You know, I was 112 kgs and Zhang was about 133. So he's a big man, and he's achieved a lot in boxing in terms of amateur career and professional career. But it was I was just a lot busier than he was, and it was great to get that win under my belt against someone like Zhang, who's a very dangerous fighter in the heavyweight division.
Such a dangerous fighter, and like I say, it was a nail-biting fight because, like I say, it had a few twists and turns. You were obviously in control for the majority of the rounds, but yeah, he had moments, and his gas tank. I think we spoke about that in the past. His gas tank seems to have gotten better with age, weirdly. Anyway, you had to dig deep, obviously, Joe. How tough of a fight was that? Was that the toughest fight of your career?
I would say at the time, the toughest because he presented a lot of power and he also presented pressure. And what I had to, I when I watched the fight back, I could have and I should have thrown more punches, but I was always cautious and wary of getting caught again. You know, like those 2 rounds that he did catch me and drop me, those are 10-8 rounds. And if he did it again, say he did it once or twice more, it would have been a different result or would have been very different at the end of the fight. But I was very happy to be smart and just be smart about the work that I was doing on fight night. And it was great to fight someone like Zhang and get that experience. And now going into this next fight, it's having Wilder and Zhang under my belt. I haven't been as active as I wanted to be. I wanted another 2 fights this year, but just being patient, been working away quietly, and I feel like they've given me this extra time to build.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to get your reaction to Usyk Fury 2. Obviously, you were out there. We all wanted Fury to win. That's no secret. It was a close fight. What did you make of it, Joe?
When I was there watching it, and maybe watching it from because I'm Team Fury. I thought at the end of the fight he did enough to win. But when you do watch the fight back, it's a very close fight. I think it could have went either way. I'm not sure about the judges having it that wide in the scoring, but listen, I'm not a judge. And it was great to be there amongst legends of the sport and to support Tyson and see him. He put on a great performance, I thought. He did apply pressure at times and push Usyk back, but Usyk came back with his own shots. And it was just when you see the 2 top in the division or the 2 top best in the world and, fighting and giving it their all, it's a great scene and great to be there to watch in person.
What do you feel that Fury should do next, Joe?
I'm not so sure. Like when you look at Tyson's career, and not even the career, like his whole life, he had depression. He's come back from that, which is a massive challenge on its own. Then he's been able to beat world champion twice. He's very successful in terms of setting up his family and himself. I think the world is oyster. He can do whatever he wants to do. If he wants to continue boxing and he has the passion for it, he can continue fighting. But if that passion's gone, then there's so many opportunities out there for him to do something else because he can talk, he can act, he's a big name, and everywhere he goes, people know who he is.
Yeah, for sure. While you were in Saudi, there's that video of you greeting Daniel Dubois, your next opponent. I'm sure you guys would have met prior to that, though, right?
Yeah, we met a few times before that encounter. Before the fight with Wilder was locked in for myself, Daniel Dubois was a week before. It was me and Dubois fighting, and then a week later it was me and Wilder. So we were on a course of fighting, but I think things just went differently. And now you've seen the climb that he's had and the comeback that he's had has been remarkable.
Yeah, 100%. The meeting that we saw on social media that you guys posted, it's clear that there's a lot of respect there. You're obviously a great guy. It's no surprise from you. You're always really respectful. I think Daniel's a good guy, but I feel like he's starting to come out of his shell a little bit more in terms of his personality. It took a long time, many years, but we're starting to see him open up a little bit more. Do you think we'll see any trash talk in the build-up to this fight?
I don't listen from my side, not really, but I think with Daniel, like you said, he has kind of a shell. And I feel like with the fights that he's had and also the wins that he's had and the fashion that he's won these fights by has given him more confidence, not only in his boxing ability, but in his this persona and the way that he conducts himself. And I think he's showing way more confidence, not only in the ring, but outside the ring, and the things that he does, the things that he's saying, the way that he's dressing. And I think it's great. It's great to see someone like Dubois, still very, very young, champion of the world, really come out and really be himself.
And talk to me about the fight itself, Joe. Obviously, February 22nd, as part of one of the best boxing cards of all time, back in your new adopted home of Saudi Arabia, where you've upset the odds and pulled off perhaps the best wins of your career in recent times. Daniel Dubois, as you said, coming off a heck of a win over Anthony Joshua, your former foe. What can we expect to see? How does the fight play out in your mind?
I feel like in this fight, there's a lot of people giving me a chance, but there's also a lot of people already saying that Dubois, he's the favorite, and the way that he's been fighting and the power that he presents, of course I can see why he's the favorite. I think this fight's going to play out. The way I see it is that I feel like I'm going to be too fast for him and too experienced and too quick. I know he's going to apply pressure and chase me down and throw the big bombs that he does. He throws a lot of punches and combinations, and they're all powerful shots. If I compare the Wilder fight and the Zhang fight to the Dubois fight, I really have to lift my game because Dubois brings a totally different energy and endurance, and he brings punches and bunches. So I think he's gonna try to get me out of there in the first, 3-4 rounds, and I'm just gonna be smart about my work, pick my shots, and I'm gonna put it on him towards the end of the fight, towards the end of the rounds.
And I think, we've spoke about this before, but with Andy Lee in your corner, you just look a completely different fighter. You guys just seem like, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but like the power couple of heavyweight boxing. Like it just works so well. You're just so good for each other. You complement each other in many different ways. And like I say, the game plans that he's laid out for you, that you've been able to execute, have been just literally perfection almost.
Yeah, listen, with Andy Lee, it's always been great linking up with Andy, and he does come up with a game plan, and when you can execute a game plan, it's perfect. It's perfect in all areas. But and also the key person as well with Andy and George Lockhart together. George Lockhart has helped me big time with my nutrition, my endurance, my strength and conditioning, my recovery. And Andy Lee and George Lockhart together with myself, I feel like we are the best team in the business. And the only way to prove that is to show that come February 22. I'm going to show something very different. I'm going to come in, obviously, in different shape because I've been building since April. But I'm going to show something, I'm going to show more power. I'm going to show more speed. I'm going to show more endurance. And I'm just going to enjoy myself in there.
And Joe, obviously you've travelled a hell of a lot recently as well, and all the time you're travelling. But how was Christmas? I'm guessing you didn't spend it back home.
I'm currently in Ireland training, and we got 8 weeks before the fight. And Christmas Day for us here was we went and did a swim in the morning. We did active recovery, and George Lockhart made us a bit of turkey. And but we're still sticking to, I think it's very important that we make every day count, not only just with training, but also with rest and the food that we're eating. And by the time February 22 comes, it's all going to be worth it. Now, I've been away from my wife and kids, but that's okay. They understand. We all understand the reason why I'm doing this. Yeah,
for sure, man. It's tough, and I sympathise with you for that. Everyone that I interview in the month of December every year, Joseph, I like to ask them what's on their Christmas wish list for the following year. So basically, what do you want, the year 2025 to bring you in a realistic world in your boxing career? I'm guessing it's just simply to become heavyweight world champion again, which is obviously very realistic considering the fight's already made. Is there anything you want to add to that, or is it just as simple as that?
I'm fully focused on Daniel Dubois, and this is my opportunity to become two-time world champion. And I'm taking this opportunity with both hands. I respect the position I'm in. I enjoy it. I love training every day, and I just feel like the stars are aligned. So for 2025, the goal is to become champion of the world, and then defend that belt and hopefully unify and fight for the undisputed. That's the goal, and I think we're right there. It's in reach. But there's a big camp ahead in order to prepare for what's coming.
100%, my friend. Right, just before we wrap things up, Joe, if you've got any closing words to the listeners, you'll be the last fighter that we speak to this year. So, if you want to sign out with a little message, my friend, take it away.
To everyone listening, thank you guys very much. Thank you guys for tuning in to all the fights, for supporting all the fighters, for supporting and listening to us, and may we continue to give you guys the best fights that we can and be involved in the biggest fights to entertain, but also so we can, we have goals, we have things that we want to achieve in boxing, and I think 2025 is going to be a massive year, not only for myself, not only for all the fighters that are involved in boxing, but for the fans and supporters as well. So thank you guys very much.
Oh, very well said, Joe. Listen, my friend, I say this all the time, but it's my pleasure speaking with you, and I mean that. Thank you for your time. Best of luck for February 22nd. I'm pulling for you to get the win, and have a very, very happy New Year, my friend.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and God bless, brother.